from the North Atlantic. Oh, hi. Okay. Welcome to the RCAD.
Yes. Why do I have this thing on my fucking screen? Can you see this thing on the screen? Live viewer comments.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there it goes. Finally got rid of it. Anyway, this is the RCAD minus Matt. Thanks for putting up with us. Last night you had storms, right, Nick?
Yeah, there was 2 tornadoes that hit, 2 or 3. I'm not sure how many officially it was. Just a little bit to the east of me, and then massive hailstorms to the south, like
dude,
baseball size.
Did you see the video of Red Rocks?
Yeah, Red Rocks. Yeah.
Holy shit!
And so, yeah, I think it was just throwing everybody's crap off last night.
And then, Chris, you just didn't want to do it, right?
I was ready to go, but I had to work.
I took a nap. I took a nap and everything yesterday. I was like going, oh, what am I doing now?
Right.
Wide awake.
I'm all prepared. Yeah. I'm peppy.
So,
I'm peppy.
So I rolled the dice again. I took another nap today.
Oh, nice.
Tonight. I'm fresh. I'm refreshed.
I haven't done it in a long time, but when I lived in LA, I used to take naps all the time because I lived 2 blocks from where I worked. So I would go home, for lunch, make myself lunch, and then I had like another half hour after I was done eating. So I was like, I'm just gonna take a quick power nap, and I used to love doing that.
Naps are great. Well, because I've been in a bad sleeping pattern again. I'm only sleeping like a couple hours at a time. It's like, come on. So that's what I'm doing. Just doing what I'm doing.
I've had a string of like closing shifts over the last few days, so it's been. I just got home like 10 minutes ago.
What you eating?
I heated up a Jamaican beef patty.
Okay,
and just crushing that right now.
So is it
nice?
Is that just got like Jamaican seasoning on it, or what is it? Okay,
yeah. It's like meat and cheese and stuff.
Okay.
It's delicious. A little flaky crust.
Oh,
you bring some for everybody?
Nope, fuck off.
That's why we couldn't hear you. Was jamming it through your audio system. It's just like, what the hell?
Right, that could have been it. Yeah. Anyway, we're here for like I said, Matt's on vacay, and you finally met Matt in person.
I finally met. Yeah. I kind of felt he was dodging me, like last week when I was like, "Oh, what's your trip? What's your route?" And
he's like, "Fuck off, Nick."
Yeah, I was like, "Well, fine. I don't want to fucking meet you either." And then all of a sudden, he just goes, "Hey, man, I got a nail in my tire, and we're gonna be in Fort Collins tomorrow morning." And I'm like, "All right. Does this mean you want to meet me now?"
No, he wanted you to come. He wanted you to come fix the tire.
I guess so, yeah. But no, even then, he was kind of like not really that committal, And I was like, you know what? Tell you what, I'm gonna get in the shower, and then I'm just gonna start driving to Fort Collins because I got to go to the grocery store anyway. And if you're still there, I'll meet you. If you're not, cool.
How far is Fort Collins from your house?
Half hour.
Oh, half hour. Okay, I'm like,
it's not bad.
That's a long trip to the grocery store.
No, I mean, well. So in here, Loveland and Fort Collins, there's a different chains like everywhere else. We have Save a Lot and all those, but like the best ones are King Supers, which is like Kroger, and so there's 2. Well, actually, there's like 2 or 3 in Fort Collins, but there's only 1 where I live. But the best one, it was near where he was. So I was like, okay, I'll just go up there and shop. After I meet you, get odds and ends.
So I was unaware. Nice. Yeah, I was unaware you never had met him in person. Chris, have you met Matt in person?
Yes.
Yeah, I met him at your house. At Jay's house.
Jay's house. Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, it's one of those things like Matt and I even said that. It's like it's one of those things where we see each other almost every week. But yeah, I'd never physically met Matt, and Matt even said that about like, you've met Chris though, right, Nick? I was, yeah, but it's been probably 12 years since I've physically been around Chris. And he's like, wow. I was like, yeah, it's been a while.
That's been a while for me too. Well, I guess
I see you every yeah. Oh, you mean from Chris? You mean
no, you were like old news. But,
yeah, exactly. I see you every year. Not this year, but
no, not this year because you're not going to be there.
I'm not going to be at Comic-Con. Yeah, I got my badges in though. I already mailed them off to Natasha who bought them from me. So.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I get the badges every year, so I guess I'll go.
Well, yeah, it was nice. Like Matt, the reason why is because it was a rental car that they were using to drive across the country, and that one got a nail in it. So Enterprise was like, "Oh, we'll get you another one," but it took them a few hours to locate something that they could use as like a family. And And so he's like, well, what do we do? I was like, go drive up by the reservoir, which they did. And then they wanted to do like a walking trail that was near the rental place. And I was like, oh, so that's where I met him. And we just kind of like did a loop
Nice.
around some little lakes and look at all the geese and swans and all that. And it was nice.
Yeah,
the kids were there and the wife. And yeah.
I saw the picture on Instagram. I go, oh, I guess Matt wanted to meet him after all. But then I hear the story. It's like, right. For that, if it weren't for that nail you put in the road,
you were a convenience for him. That's what it was.
Yeah,
you were 7-Eleven.
That's exactly, yeah.
You know what happened was, right? Like, so he's like, all right, we have to get a rental car. So Matt's probably like, oh, should we go visit? And you know how it is, Jack, when you're with the family and I don't know, perhaps his family or his wife didn't really necessarily want to go that direction. He probably had to like weasel his way into Colorado or to Fort Collins.
Yeah, it's happened. You sit there and because they're like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, they were actually in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and they were never planning on coming to Colorado. But think about
so they made the trip to see you.
No, the only Enterprise was in Fort Collins. So they had to come south, and so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. No,
there you go. No, that's awesome. You got to hang out with him.
Matt's like this. Should I text him? I don't know. Should I text him?
Should I?
I don't know.
He's gonna find out.
Yeah, I'll slip and say I was in Fort Collins. I go, why did you call me?
Yeah. I look like Dan, the serial killer. Saw the photo, and of course immediately was like, Nick's short. Like, yeah, compared to Matt, I'm short. Yeah,
everyone. I think Matt's 6'6", 6'7".
No, I would say he's probably 6'4". 6'4", yeah, because I'm 6'2". I'm almost 6'2", and he was in the photo. He's probably a couple inches taller than me. So yeah, he's probably 6'4" to 6'5". Yeah.
Well, for me, everyone's tall, so it just it is what it is. But yeah, that was a great picture. I was happy for you that you finally. But now it's kind of like, Yeah.
Well, it's definitely one of those guys where we probably would have never thought about taking a photo, and then his wife at the very was like, "Oh, I'll take a photo." You guys turn around. We're like, "Oh yeah, okay." And
that wasn't in the beginning. That wasn't in the beginning.
No, that was like after we'd walked and done the hike and everything.
Wow, I thought that'd be in the beginning. So Matt didn't even want a photo.
No,
you had no evidence. No evidence.
No,
he was in fucking Loveland or Fort Collins.
Yeah,
but that King Super, that is a great fucking grocery store. I had the pleasure of going to one of those when I was in Thornton, Colorado.
Nice. I've never even heard of a King Super.
Yeah, like I say, it's like Ralph's in California is Kroger. King Super in Colorado is Kroger. Then you have Kroger actually in the South. But but the one that you always brag about, Jack,
Wegmans.
Yeah, is really good.
Yeah, Wegmans was nice.
Well, I have a funny story about Wegmans. Well, I think it's funny. My wife for weeks has been looking at these Italian cookies they have right in the front. They get you with all. If you can get through the bakery stuff in Wegmans, you can save a lot of money. But the Wegmans bakery stuff is just ridiculously priced. So every week I go, really, you're going to pay that much for those cookies? Really going to pay that much for those cookies? So every week I would just guilt her into it. She goes, all right. It's like 8 Italian cookies. I mean, little tiny Italian cookies for $10.
Oh, fuck that. They better be heaven.
Well, she finally bought them.
Oh, okay.
She goes, I don't care. I'm doing it this week. I said, all right, whatever you want to do. I don't care. Waste money on 8 Italian cookies for $10. I just think I just, it is, but because she was like, well, if you want to get that stuff you get, I go, why? Because she had already planned on getting what she wanted. So it's like, But yeah, Wegmans is great, except for their bakery stuff is great, but it is outrageous.
Yeah, like
crazy price.
The kind of like the Colorado version of Whole Foods is Sprouts, which is not. There's actually one not too far from my house.
There's one a few where my dad's house is a few like a block away.
Nice. Well, I mean, I rarely go because one's expensive, and a lot of it's very much like the produce goes bad so quickly because it's all what's it called?
Natural,
yeah, but it's whatever they call it.
Well, I'm gonna get picked on, but they'll say it's me because
but
Herbalife.
Organic. That's
organic. Thank you.
The word I was looking for. Organic. Okay. So hold on, I want to read what John says. Nick's biggest disappointments: Lincoln on Mount Rushmore and meeting Matt in person. No, actually, it was actually quite nice. I think Matt would say the same thing. You know, I would have liked to spend more time with him, of course. You know, I would have liked if they would have stayed a whole night, you know, and I could have showed him around town. But, you know, it is what it is. He was going out to California to see family, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had an itinerary for sure.
Right.
That didn't include you, but that's okay.
What was I going to say?
Hey, I went to fucking Colorado, and I was like 30 minutes away from Nick. I never got to see him.
Right. I know. No, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, like, but especially now that it's been 6-7 months, without me being able to cook anything at my house because I have no water. There's a spot.
You still have no water?
It should be probably tomorrow, hopefully. We got a lot. We got a lot done.
I didn't realize you didn't have any water. How do you take a shower?
I've been staying at the La Quinta down at the hill for 6 months. How do you not know this? You don't listen to me, do you? You just wait for me to pause so you can interrupt.
No, I listened.
You're worse than Chris.
I didn't realize you were still there.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to be out of there like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but we kept, as the house became more pressurized and the water started moving up the house, that we found more cracks.
You're lucky the house didn't implode.
Yeah, but I think we got them all today except for one. But I got you.
Wait, too soon?
Yeah. The thing is, we shouldn't joke about that. We shouldn't joke about that because it's really crushing news. But
I got this real sinking feeling that it's probably going to come up again at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, I found that like 2-3 weeks ago when I was in Sprouts, near the deli section. I mean, a lot of grocery stores do this, but theirs is like deluxe nice. Whereas they have all these pre-made, not necessarily meals. They do have some meals, but they have
pre-made submarine sandwich.
No, not just sandwiches, but yeah, a big hoagie. Yeah, but
come on, Nick,
submarine.
Yeah, submarine.
I got it, Chris. I got it.
Then the puns just keep on coming.
The problem is it's all over the place. or you can't find it. Well, this show's not being released for a week. Right. So by then it's going to be old news.
Man, once that gets through my stomach, you just see that debris field.
No beacon there. Okay.
Now, did you guys know that the Titanic swimming pool still has water in it?
Really? Wait, what? I would tell you, are you telling a joke or is like?
Yes, it's a joke.
There's no swimming pool in the Titanic. Fuck.
Yes, there is a swimming pool in the Titanic, but it's underwater, so obviously there's still water.
Well, it's the joke. You meant like it was like fuck.
Was there a swimming pool in the Titanic?
Yeah,
I didn't see that in the movie.
I'm pretty sure there was one. It wasn't a big one. It's one of those back then where it wasn't like a swimming pool. It's one of those where it's like probably like a 8x4 or 8x6 little square.
Where women had to wear full clothing to go into the pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I walked in and you could buy like a whole thing of Brussels sprouts already cooked. You could buy shrimp or salmon, all these things that were perfect.
This is at Sprouts?
This is at Sprouts, yeah, where it's just perfect. It's already seasoned. It's already done for you. All you have to do is just whatever you want to eat, just take it out, put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. It's like, man, this is awesome. And it's not expensive either. I was like, shit, I should do this more often. Yeah, because I definitely have been missing out on eating greens a lot these last 6 months. Any kind of greens. So
is there a kitchen at the La Quinta?
No, it's not a super deluxe one. They definitely have like a dining area, but all they have is like a waffle maker, like a little bitty refrigerator. They have like milk and stuff in. Then they put out cereals, apples, and oranges, and all that. But yeah,
are you on a personal name basis with everyone on the staff?
2 of them, I am. Yeah, like there's one kid. He's 19. He's like the late night guy, and so because I come in around 10, 11 every night, and just go to bed, and I'll wave at him, and we'll talk about where he's going to go to college and what he wants to do with his life and all that. And there's another girl on the weekends that's like 24 that I'll talk to because. I was asking her if she was majoring in hotel and restaurant management, and she's like, yeah, because she actually works at like 3 different hotels in the area. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And just I like just to see what people led them to what they're doing in life. It's pretty interesting.
Except for
Randy
Rose.
said, except for Rose.
That's in reference to the full clothing comment.
Yes.
Swing.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Hey, so yeah. I mean, the fucking submarine. What the fuck? Like,
we all
obviously,
die in a
you know,
yellow submarine.
this is like world news, right? Which is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, that's just wild. That the chain of events that let that happen. Like, you think about the fact that people are spending $250,000 a seat to go.
Yeah, so you think it'd be
in
as safe? You think it'd be as safe as possible?
I'm saying. And then there's all these reports coming out. You know, you heard that news report about that person who got fired from the company because they were like a whistleblower saying that, you know, this window wouldn't hold and it would actually cause depressurization and all type of stuff, or pressurization. Like, well, I mean, all the memes out there are getting fucking out of hand. Like, there's one I saw that I almost fucking died. It was like, when the captain really knew shit was hitting the fan, he handed these out to all the passengers, and it was the Nintendo Zapper gun.
Oh God, yeah. And that's what
I was like, oh my God, like. But the memes are crazy. But the human side of it all, I mean, could you? That's got to be awful. Could you imagine? And hopefully,
well,
being the implosion,
2 hours into it imploded. Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah.
So
it goes,
and they didn't feel a thing. They didn't know.
It's I think it's like 15. Like implosion happens at 1,500 miles per hour or something like that. So it's like it's instantaneous. Like, you don't know what hit you.
That's
I was watching something on TikTok, and some guy said, "Yeah, they probably imploded." This was 3 or 4 days ago. He goes, "It's a waste of time looking for them." He goes,
"Yeah."
He goes, "They're already dead." But then it became that thing. I mean, you look on TikTok and Twitter and any social media thing, and the news. It was. I think the news probably knew. But they're saying, okay, this is a ratings bonanza. Let's just keep playing it up.
Let's get news cycles out of it. Yeah, I was watching one dude on TikTok, and he was tracking sharks on some app. I don't know if you saw this guy or not, but there's some app that tracked all the tagged sharks off the coast. And also, I learned this. I learned how fucking close that shit is to me. Off Cape Cod, 900 miles off the Cape.
Oh yeah, it's just due south of Newfoundland.
Yeah. I was like, man, they almost made it. Fuck.
Yeah, you weren't there to rescue them. You said, "Fuck it, I'm sleeping."
Yeah, I'm saying the Titanic almost. They came pretty damn close.
I know. I'm talking about the Titanic.
They did make it in ¡89. I saw it.
Could have made them a bigger. Could make them a bigger door.
But they, I was gonna say I forgot what I was getting at. What was I saying before?
You're about sharks tracking.
Oh, the sharks. Yeah. So he's watching this thing where there's this app that tracks all these sharks, and there's these 2 sharks that went way off of their normal, path that they take, their patterns or whatever, and 2 sharks beelined it.
They said
to the crash site of the Titanic.
Oh, did they?
Which would be if that implosion happened,
they heard the noise.
They heard the noise and they went straight to it. And the guy's like, "Hey, everybody, look at this! This is where they are. Go here." And sure as shit, he was right. But that's just wild. I mean, if you are that affluent, right? If you have the money to spend $250,000 per seat to go into the Toyota Camry of the seas, what? Why would you not make sure that it's foolproof? That's got I don't understand.
Well, I was listening to this one guy on TikTok. He said there's 12 of those type of things that can go that deep. 12 submarine type things. He goes,
wait, Jim Cameron has one, didn't he?
11 passed inspection, 1 didn't. The 1 didn't, just imploded.
Right. And then,
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
The craziest thing I saw was before they launched, you see some guy out there with a fucking hand ratchet, tightening shit up, and I'm like,
well, that's they lock them in.
Oh, okay.
That's why because people say, well, they can't get out. I go, well, you're that far, you're that deep, you can't get out anyway.
It has to be completely.
But they said even if it floated to the top, they couldn't get out unless somebody because they're sealed inside. You're muted, Chris.
Which is so fucking dumb. Because the fail-safe for this vessel is that if it loses communication or whatever, it's supposed to go back up to the surface, right? Okay, let's say you get to the surface. Well, you're just gonna sit there until your oxygen runs out because you can't open the motherfucker from the inside.
Yeah,
wild. It's absolutely wild. But I was watching another thing. So James Cameron and Bill Paxton actually went down to the Titanic back a long time ago. where they were in a submersible that brought them to the Titanic.
Yeah.
And when they came up from the Titanic, everybody on the boat that they're a part of was all like stone-faced and terrified. Because when they went down to the bridge of the Titanic on 9/11 and the towers got struck when they were on the Titanic.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
and
that.
they came up, and that's how they found out, because the entire ship's crew was like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I think people should just leave that ship where it is. Let it go. Like,
but if you had a chance to go, and it was safer. Would you go?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's just really morbid to me, you know. And the thing is, like, I watch a video. It's the same like that episode of Friends where like Joey and Chandler want to go hike Mount Everest, and then they're like, you know what, we could die. It's kind of we can just watch a video of someone else hiking it. That's how I feel about, you know, I can just watch someone else or a robot go down there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm done in like 2 minutes. Yeah,
but sometimes you got to take a chance. I mean, I'm old, so it's like for me,
I'm not crazy.
But no, I'd be honest with you, and I'm glad they imploded and didn't just.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because I couldn't imagine being down there because it's in the dark. There's no light. And who knows how far? Because they were showing diagrams of how far they could go down. I go, well, even if they find the location, they're not going to be able to save them.
No. And that's what I kept thinking about. It's like, you know, what if, you know, imagine if they did, like, it's just something broke and they're just floating down there or like sitting on the bottom, and you're the CEO of that company going, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
we're in the sub.
I know he's in the sub. But that's what I mean. Imagine being there with 4 other guys, knowing you're responsible for their deaths.
Well, if you kill the other 4 guys, then you have more air.
That's true. I wondered if that would happen as well. There's a lot of things going through my head. Like, what if they got down there and then they hit the fucking ship, you know, with the sub, and they got stuck on it? Or, you know, there's so many things that could have happened.
Rose, help us. Right. Rose would be like, fuck it, I didn't help Jack. You think I'm going to help you? Fuck off.
Dude, that's just wild.
But it was crazy. But when I heard it was, I go, they've narrowed it down to 1,000 square miles. I go, 1,000 square miles. I go, these people. I go, even if they're alive. And then they said, well, we heard pounding. I said, you ever notice it's at the end of the thing that somebody says they heard pounding and stuff? I go, come on. It was all part of the press and people on TikTok reporting shit like that. And again, it sucks, but.
Well, I heard or read something very interesting, saying that noise they heard, right, was probably parts of the ship hitting the Titanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as it like imploded and hit the ground, because they went straight down. They didn't drift. They went straight down. And the guy who was I don't know if what his background was. There's some type of scientific background. I don't remember what it was. But he's like, consider it like a marble dropping into like a coffee can. Like, what happens? Like it goes down and bounces around and blah blah blah. And that was the sounds that there was making.
Okay,
that was a hypothesis.
Because I'd be afraid. I mean, if you're hitting the side, okay, you had a wrench and you're hitting the sub. I'd be afraid the damn thing would, bring a leak.
Right.
No, they didn't have a wrench. They had like the off-brand PS5 controller that was 25% off on Amazon last week.
Right.
Can you believe they didn't have a beacon? It didn't have a beacon.
I can't believe they didn't go with the Nintendo glove. But
the power glove.
Power glove. Yeah.
So it was like Pong.
Yeah, basically.
Sherry says, if they went straight down, why did it take so long for them to find them? Because they fucking disappeared. Like they imploded into each other. Sherry, like, you know, it's like Jack said, like they probably just kept the story going because it's good news and gets ratings. But you know what I read just a few hours ago was that whatever the institute is that does all that stuff, so they knew 2 hours after they left, so they heard it implode then, so they knew they were dead. Yeah, the U.S. Navy heard it.
Yeah, the U.S. Navy. Yeah, they knew they were dead. On Sunday.
It's wild.
John says, "Too bad they couldn't splash land in the pool."
It's a shame. Fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, I think our heart will go on, about this situation, but
well, it's like, okay, if you choose to do something like that, it's a risk, and Are you saying the heart of the diamond?
That's a song from Titanic.
Oh, I was thinking the heart. Doesn't Rose throw the heart of the diamond over the?
heart of the ocean.
Instead of feeding people,
Yeah,
she could have
exactly.
fed billions of people. Shit.
Well,
No one can have it.
And that's
You know
why,
what's-
like, when people, you guys have heard me talk about that. I always rant about every kind of movie, but that one, it's not a love story, because I mean, it's a narcissistic woman who's reminiscing to a crew about the time she slept with a drifter and then murdered him. Like that to me is the story of Titanic.
Well, and the worst part is she was married. She gets married.
Oh yeah, and then
she was married. Had two.
Yeah.
She gets married, has 2 kids,
Yeah.
and fuck it. Who does she go back to? The hot young guy.
Yeah, the young guy.
Mhm.
She doesn't go back to her fucking husband or her kids.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the cojones on Rose.
Yeah,
It's
Rose
just,
is the most I did a
she's
video.
extremely selfish. Yeah,
she's the most selfish person in the history of the world.
Bill Paxton basically tells her that he's been searching for this jewel his entire life. He's probably God knows how much money he has invested to getting this jewel, and she throws it over the fucking.
Randy said Rose had an OnlyFans.
Yeah, she did.
Account. Yeah, it's Bill Paxton. He goes, and you think the story is supposed to something? Okay, the story is cool, but it's not. Again, you take that heart of the diamond or heart of the ocean, whatever it is, and you throw it overboard. It's worth billions. You literally could have fed how many people?
I don't know about billions, but it's worth a lot. Yeah,
it was worth. Hey, Bill Paxton said it was worth billions, and I
so
believe Bill Paxton.
as an aside from the cinematic universe of Titanic, what's also kind of crazy is that we know more about our stratosphere, like an inch by inch, like account of our stratosphere, than we know about the fucking ocean. That's terrifying. Like, what we don't know about the seafloor is mind blowing.
Because we can't go.
Yeah, it's just too much pressure, and it's just.
That's just crazy.
And that's what's crazy, is because even 2 miles down, which is basically what the Titanic is, like whereas it's 6 miles up to get to space, which is
right.
It's
so weird. And there are also all these like the conspiracy theories about the megalodon god and all this type of stuff. I'm like,
I just sent you a picture of that. Like, I can't be the only one that's thinking this, and it shows the shark eating the sub. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
They had a picture.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
that's funny.
They had pictures of orcas. Orcas have been attacking boats, so they said maybe it was orcas.
Right. You've seen that image. You've seen that meme, haven't you? It's like it's the famous one of the orca, like at SeaWorld, like up on the side of the pool, and so it's got a news reporter with the microphone up to the orca's mouth, and he's like, "We ain't done shit." You're saying something.
Oh yeah,
there's been a bunch.
So Dennis just made a comment about CNN's expert at CNN said the saltwater after several trips down caused the epoxy in the layering carbon fiber sheets to erode. That was a theory that was known to the company. I also heard
it's like the space shuttle of the O-rings.
Right. They also had like they had like these things attached, like almost like buoys attached to it, essentially to help.
Those aren't 2 buoys.
But the string that was used was rated to dissolve in water.
The string,
like that's with the connective tissue, rope, string, whatever the fuck it was, was rated to like dissolve in water after 16 hours.
Wow.
Huh.
Like this was only this was only the 4th trip down for that sub, I think, to the Titanic. So.
Wow,
it's probably gonna be the last.
But yeah, I think it is the last.
Yeah. let bygones be bygones and move on.
Well, when I saw how cramped they were in there, they had to sit. Was it crisscross applesauce? They call it.
Yeah, they have to sit. Yeah, and
I go.
Stand. There's one little bitty toilet. Not even really a toilet. It's just a black box that you have to go and.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Imagine that smell. Yeah.
Gotta go, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, and I was at Bell last night. Yeah,
dude, I was reading. I took the dog out to take a piss right before the show, and I was actually reading an article that said that because 2 of the passengers were a father and son.
Yeah.
And it was a Father's Day trip that was being taken, and apparently the son was terrified. And
he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go.
I just read that he was terrified of going, and he kind of got guilted into going.
Because his dad's a huge Titanic fan. Yeah, 19 years old.
Come on, son, let's go down to the Titanic.
My God.
I don't know.
This is why we need to tax the rich to stop them from spending money on stupid shit like this.
How about we just do lunch?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Alamo Draft House and
Yeah.
fucking rent it out and watch the Titanic, the movie.
There you go.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, I mean, I mean, even if I would have, if that had been my dad, all I would have had to done is stick my head in that little sub and be like, "Fuck no, sorry, I just cost you $250,000, Dad, but I ain't getting in that damn thing."
I'll pay you back.
Yeah.
After you come back up.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I saw a video of his stepson of someone on
to a
on there.
Blink 182 concert. Did you see that?
Yeah.
One?
No, he was Carly B, whatever her name is. I
Same
guess
thing. Yeah.
He was calling her out. I guess.
Well, yeah, because he went. No, the story is Nick's right, because that he went to, after they announced it was missing, he ended up still going to a Blink 182 concert.
Oh, so that's why he got called out.
And Cardi B called him out, and then he's firing back at Cardi B, calling her trash. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's wearing a Padres hat. We have no affiliation with that. I'm just saying.
Well, that makes sense.
We have enough problems right now. We don't need to claim that guy. Yeah, so I didn't know he went to a concert.
Yeah.
It's like when Elaine, her boyfriend got hurt and she still got juicy fruits, whatever it was.
Juicy fruit.
You stopped and got those? Well, I was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go to a concert if a relative was down in that sub.
Speaking of concerts, I went to one last weekend, and I'm going to another one this weekend.
Hey, hold on a second.
Yeah.
At this time, we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay. So you went to Dave Matthews?
I did. It was fucking pouring rain. It was brutal, but it was a fun time.
Were you covered?
I had like a raincoat on, but after the by the time I got to the encore, that jacket was like, "Fuck you, not working anymore."
So you weren't under? You weren't? I'm saying a covered.
No, I was out on the lawn.
On the lawn, yeah.
It was
almost the life preserver, huh? Yeah.
Serious. Jesus, the puns are just not.
Did you implode? I'm watching the concert sitting crisscross applesauce, and
I mean the stage is still far away, so I kind of had to use like a periscope to see the stage. But
you only had one window to see it.
Oh man! But I'm gonna go see Dead and Company again.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
on Sunday.
Nice.
But I have to go to tomorrow. Is Springsteen? Oh, nice.
Well, Randy's a big Springsteen fan. Really. I've never seen him.
Oh, you should. Unbelievable show.
Yeah. Did you see him fall on stage a few weeks ago? It was funny.
He is 90, isn't he?
Well, I mean, it wasn't because of his age. He was like going up and then like just tripped and fell. And the thing is that like anyone who falls, you're just kind of like, fuck.
He could be president.
He kind of laid there for a minute, like going like, what the fuck did I just do? But then of course everyone was like, oh my god, are you okay? And then of course he just hopped up. He's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it was just funny.
The fuck, I'm losing my mind.
John said we saw the Ringo and the All-Star Band last Saturday. What a fantastic!
I really wanted to see that because he's playing in Denver soon. But it's just like, do I want to pay that amount of money to see Ringo? It is pretty good though. Like his All-Star Band, he's got some pretty good guys with him. This because he always gets different established musicians. Because he's got the guy from Men at Work with him. I know he had Joe Walsh.
It's a mistake.
Like he always gets other people to play like their songs too, so it's usually a pretty good show.
Whatever happened to Men at Work? Did they retire?
Well, they just
they broke up, but they're all doing separate stuff.
Yeah, the main lead singer songwriter still Colin something
like that. He was on an episode of Scrubs.
Yeah, he's still touring.
I think he actually was in. I think he's in John Mayer's band, actually. No, is
he?
That's Toto. No, the guy from Toto. Sorry, he's from Toto, not Men at Work. But I'm going up to New Hampshire tomorrow. My daughter's got a field hockey tournament up in New Hampshire, so we're up there for a couple of days. But before I go, I'm doing something I haven't done in years, and I'm terrified because I have a huge. Well, that too. I have a huge phobia.
Oh, happy anniversary!
Getting in confined spaces and going.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to the dentist.
Oh,
I gotta go to the dentist,
dude. I have like a significant phobia of the dentist. Like
love
the last time I went to the dentist was because of.
We can't see that.
Yeah.
Someone
Oh,
I
I see it. Yes,
teeth.
it's
I got space right there.
Yeah.
That's the last time I went. I
Is that from that old man fight?
No, I cracked a tooth. I had a filling in it, and I had to yank it.
It's one of his glasses.
So I haven't been in years, and I'm fucking terrified because I actually have some pain in one of my teeth over here. I'm about to get some work done, but I'm going for the first time in like a long time tomorrow, and I'm terrified about doing it. But gotta bite the bullet, or don't bite the bullet, so it'll probably hurt this tooth. But yeah.
My wife keeps bugging me to go to the dentist, and I'm ashamed because my teeth are so bad. And it's funny because I didn't have a cavity until I was 33. That was my first. Good. That was my first cavity, and then I went to this. I all of a sudden got a bunch of cavities. And I went to this quack dentist. He was the only guy who I had such pain that I was drinking tequila shots nonstop. I still couldn't get the pain to stop. And I put all these fillings in there, and they all fell out when we moved like 6 years later. I said that shouldn't happen. So my teeth got really fucked up. Yeah, she goes, you should go to the dentist. I go, I'm embarrassed to go to the dentist because, well, I'm in the South, so it's not that big a deal. But you got some pretty teeth there, boy.
You're the after photo at the dentist.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to go. But I'm like, I don't want to go because I'm embarrassed to go. I mean, it's just like, you know.
I think that's part of my fear is shame, really. You know, like it's part of it. But like,
Randy says anti-dentite.
Yeah, right. And you know, it's interesting. I actually because of all this, I've been talking with some coworkers. I have some coworkers who think very similarly, who actually recommended me to this dentist I'm going to. They specialize in fucking, pussies like me. I was
going somewhere else with that. Okay. But I was like, hey, I'm in.
No, they specialize in people like myself. And they were talking about like the of all of the medical professionals, the highest rate of suicide is dentists.
Dentist, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because everybody fucking hates them.
Well, it's not just that. It's there's a major phobia of dentistry, but also it's because it's such a risk financially to become a dentist.
Is it?
Because think about it, like if you are a doctor and you join a practice like a lawyer, there's already something there established. You already have all the medical stuff there. When you're a dentist and you start your own dentistry, you're buying all that equipment yourself.
Oh,
that makes sense, and that's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And so if
that
you
spit
don't,
tank is not that spit sink is not cheap.
Yeah,
right.
It's not. Yeah,
I have a funny story about it. It's like Dennis. I had to have a tooth extracted, and they had to use a chisel to get it out. So my head's back like this on a pad, and they're like bam, bam, and to get the tooth out. This is when I'm still in San Diego, and so I'm bleeding. I have blood coming down. There's blood on my shirt and stuff like that. Some lady had either a heart attack or a panic attack in the thing, so they called the paramedics, and they come like this. So I go, okay, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go to the car. So I open the door, and this woman goes, "Is this they're taking the dentist?" I go, "Yeah." She saw me because I had blood all over my face, and the paramedics are there. She turned around and ran away. I go, "Where's she going?" I go, it wasn't until I got in the car. I go, "Oh,
that's why."
Yeah.
You think they could have cleaned me up a little bit, but they were so concerned about the lady who was. They go, "Ma'am, you need to relax. Ma'am, you need." But she had, like a panic attack or something from going to this, this dentist office that was, kind of scary. But that lady, she probably never went to a dentist again.
See, like I guess I'm opposite because I love going to the dentist, but that goes back to childhood because you
got toys.
No, it's because the only teeth that came out, my only baby teeth that came out naturally were my front two, my bottom two, like front ones. The rest of them, when my permanent teeth would come in, the roots of the baby teeth that would be attached to the tooth. And so I had to have every single one of my teeth pulled as a child when they would come.
And you fucking like going to the dentist?
Because it was a relief of pain for me. Like, and so it was like, yes, I'm getting this. And so like I liked going to for that reason.
I used to brush my teeth with hydrogen peroxide and baking soda every day.
Wow.
I just scrub them every day, but I got that business. Life got rough, and of course, we got kids who all, Jay's, I think, dental bill was like $22,000 once everything was done.
Damn.
Fucker in his teeth, and then the next kid was like
He's still
15,000. Yeah, I know, that's what sucks. So, what the fuck was that money for? I mean, and back then, you think back then that your teeth, spent $22,000 overall, and
right.
There was no money left for me.
Yeah,
to go to the dentist, but
Daddy could have got some hair plugs.
But it's funny. This quack doctor, I was getting a root canal, and he stuck the needle into the nerve, and I jumped. He goes, "You can't move." I go, "You hit my nerve." You hit my nerve. I go,
that's
he
the
goes,
idea.
"You can't move." I go, "You hit my nerve." I almost got up. I almost pulled a Chris and got up and punched him. I was so pissed. But I didn't because, I'm a civilized human being. I don't go around punching older people.
It's fair.
Yeah, you don't blow under pressure. Gotcha.
No, I don't. Oh, God. Anyway, so that, I hear you. I'm not afraid. Like I said, I'm not afraid of the pain and stuff that goes on at the dentist. I'm afraid and ashamed of the dentist because
I'm both. I'm terrified of the pain. I'm terrified.
And my dad, I remember my dad had like $10,000 worth of dental work done one time because his teeth were. He told me, he goes, "Never let your teeth get this way."
Well, the thing about, at least what I've always read about, because like my dad has never had a cavity in his life, and he has shit dental habits, and my mother, I genetically lean towards my mother, and she has cavities all the time. And it's been a while for me, but they always say it's really your saliva, that's what causes cavities, is just your natural, what that produces and how it sits, and that's what causes
that makes sense,
cavities. Yeah. So it's really not your fault or anyone's fault for getting cavities. You could eat chocolate all day long, but it's just how the bacteria and the things that are naturally in your mouth.
Yeah, I could be like a dental or a dentist or a dentist. I couldn't put my fingers in people's mouths.
I know that
kind of grosses me out.
Yeah, you guys know me. I'm kind of a smart ass. And last time I went to the dentist, the dental hygienist was absolutely lovely of a woman. Yeah, and she, after she was all done, she's like,
why did it have to be a woman?
I'm just telling you what it was. She was, but she was really nice. We were having good conversations, and when we were all done, she goes, "Thank you for being such a really good patient. Like, this has been fun." And I went, "Yeah, thanks for putting your hands in my mouth." And she just looked at me like, "What the
You're
fuck?
Fucking weirdo."
Yeah, exactly.
You got
but
it in your file.
It is weird. They ask you questions why you're
right, exactly. Yeah.
Huh? I mean, maybe they speak that language. I don't know, but it's like, it's like The Godfather. I'm gonna offer a car juice.
So yeah, that's what's on the docket for me tomorrow. I'm not really super excited.
Well, have fun at the dentist tomorrow. They'll give you a little toy and stuff and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
it sounds like gas me up.
Just because we're like,
I don't like the only thing I don't like about the dentist is when they put the thing for the X-ray in the back of your mouth.
Right.
And I'm gagging. And they go, "All right, just relax." I go,
I can't relax. No.
I can't. So I didn't go to prison. So
yeah, anyway. This is. I probably should have brought it up. This is not helping me at all.
Well, just because
you don't feel better about this?
No.
Oh yeah, I had to go get an X-ray in my shoulder because I have frozen shoulder in my right shoulder now, and
you have what in your shoulder?
Frozen shoulder. It's common in diabetics of your shoulders are really prone to getting it because you have such a big socket area, and it's basically when if you pop like the cartilage or the tendons in there, you'll get scar tissue within that, and so it makes it to where you can't move much. But anyway, you have to get an X-ray in order for the doctor to approve you to get physical therapy. And same thing, like the X-rays. I go in there and this little person comes up, and I want to say woman, but I'm not gonna say woman because it'll offend you.
Why does that be a little person?
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't make this case any better. But she goes, she stand here. I was like, "Is this where you run to that other room and tell me the X-ray is perfectly safe while you're standing behind 3 feet of lead?"
Exactly.
And she's like,
they put that little blanket on you, right? That little lead blanket.
Yeah. Of course, she just, like, "Oh, you're funny, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." Well, at least I try to be.
It is funny.
Looks aren't everything.
Yeah.
They do sprint out of there to get the. They put here. Just lay there. You're fine. I'm like, it's a nice blanket though. It's nice
it does. It's and I get like when you see those advertisements for like the weighted blanket. It's like you kind of want to get that, but you're kind of like,
yeah. John, the retired guy. When I had my wisdom teeth out at 23, I woke up in the middle of the surgery. That explains why you're so cranky. That explains why you're so cranky all the time.
Yeah, that would hurt.
That would.
But they always say that's a scam too.
I never had my wisdom teeth out.
No,
I had mine out.
Yeah,
I had mine out.
They always say it's a bit of a scam. Like dentists are just trying to get more money out of you because you don't need them. But it's just one of those where it's like,
my whoa, there you go, 29 years.
29 years.
Surprised
you still had teeth.
My I had a
fuck, I'm losing my mind today.
Too late.
Oh, so people are telling me like, hey, things have changed in dentistry. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like the last time I went to the dentist, actually, before I remember I got a couple of fillings and I got it done with like a laser. They had laser dentistry, which is actually kind of cool. That was like 20 years ago. And to think of, hopefully there's some pretty good.
And you live in a pretty urban, modern area. So like, I would imagine they keep up to date.
The place I'm going to was again, it was recommended to me as someone who's they treat people like me pretty well.
Just the person that recommended.
Wait, what do you mean? People like you?
Do they like you?
A fucking pansy. It's actually my boss. My boss sent me there. So
high five, Nick.
Dicks.
People like me.
So my boss
it's exclusive.
She was like when she would freak out and have panic attacks for a cleaning. Like she was that like nervous about it.
Yeah.
So they like gave her gas.
I've never had gas.
I've never got gas by the dentist.
I might ask for it tomorrow. Let's go. Like just drug me up.
We don't need it for cleaning.
Like knock me out and do whatever the fuck you want.
Well, you didn't actually tell us what you're going for. Are you going for an actual dental thing?
So I'm going for an exam and some X-rays because I do have an issue with a tooth. I have an issue, which is probably going to lead to either. Most likely
follow up. Yeah. Ooh. Actually,
most
those
likely.
Are
I didn't hear.
Those are a lot better now.
Most likely a what?
A root canal.
Root canal is not that bad.
It's not that bad anymore. It used to be horrible.
That's
now,
that's what people tell me.
Yeah.
Give me a root canal. I'm pretty tough. I mean, I'm pretty.
Maybe it's just a filling. I don't know, but it's probably gonna be a root canal. I'm assuming.
I've had. I remember.
Never cried about it.
Like all of my feelings that I've had in the last 20 years are all.
You have no feelings.
I have no feelings. That's true. I'm dead inside. Everyone knows that. But they're all, like whitish, transparent to blend in with your teeth.
I've got silver.
Yeah, I do too. Like the one that's, I'm not going to show you my mouth, but like one I've got up here that I had since I was a kid is like solid lead, silver. Yeah. And God, like, I see it. Did you ever?
Mine all fell out. So I can't tell you.
Did you ever bite a piece of aluminum foil on that fucker? Oh my God! Talk about
it's the worst.
Yeah.
John says Kim gets nitrous even for just a cleaning. Yeah, wow. So I feel good. I feel better about the fact that I know I'm. The more I talk about it, the more I realize I'm not alone in this.
I mean, how many people die from going to the dentist every year?
Is it safe?
Panic.
I don't know.
It's like going down to see that Titanic. You're down, you're out. You're up, you're down. Anyway, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
And when they stick the suction thing in your mouth, get your spit, your cheeks just implode.
Yeah.
That was another.
One comedian.
You missed it. You fucking missed it.
The meeting is they sit there and tell you not to put. They sit there and tell you not to put anything in your mouth, but yet what do they do when you're at the dentist? Put everything in your mouth.
Yeah,
sure.
Fucking dentist, anti-dentite. Now you're gonna tell me they have their own schools. They do have their own schools.
It's one of those like is there a doctor in the house? Shut up, sit down, Larry. You're a dentist.
Wasn't that what's his name? Fucking Breaking Bad.
It might have been. There's been a couple of jokes on that. Yeah, before.
No. The actor
on Seinfeld. Yes, Bryan Cranston was the.
Bryan Cranston.
That's right.
He was the dentist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why when people said watch Breaking Bad, I go, was it a comedy? Because you had Malcolm in the Middle. I knew him from what's his name on the dentist? Who was he? Where's Matt? Matt Treese is not here today.
That's true.
What was his name on the dentist show? He was a dentist. Anyway. And his dad was Mickey's dad was Robert Wagner and Jill St. John. I can remember that, but of course Robert Wagner, he was married to Natalie Wood, and well, we know what happened there. Watley, James Watley. That's it. Watley. I did watch a few shows. I did watch a couple new shows. I watched. I'm on the 4th episode of Based on a True Story.
I wrote that down.
It's on Peacock.
Oh, that's why I can't watch it, because it's on Peacock. Yeah,
it's on Peacock, and it stars the girl from Big Bang Theory, and she's on the air. She was the airline stewardess thing.
Haley Cuoco.
It's basically at first I went in thinking, okay, it's going to be like Murders in the Building.
Mm-hmm.
Murders in the Building, because of what and it has a twist there.
I need to watch the last season of Murders in the Building, so don't go too far.
Well, I won't spoil you like Matt did me. But no, it's actually pretty good. It's got some comedy to it.
Nice. Dennis recommended it to me. Yeah,
it's got some twist to it. I think I have a theory, but I can't put it out there. But I have a theory about who is the real killer. Just throwing it out there. And then I watched Bupkis with Pete Davidson.
Don't know that one.
It's also on Peacock.
Oh, no wonder. Yeah.
It's Edie Falco and Joe Pesci. Yeah, Dead to Me, the flight attendant.
I didn't even know. I didn't know Joe Pesci. Aside from The Irishman, I thought he was did that just to do it, but I didn't know he was even acting again.
I'm watching the first episode. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was cranky. And Pete Davidson is basically playing himself.
Oh,
Pete Davidson, and then he's got this virtual reality thing, and he's having sex with this. Dennis, yeah, we probably do have the same theory that he's having sex with the virtual. I mean, you probably could tell me, Chris, how this stuff works, because you have virtual reality.
Never had sex with it though.
Anyway, so he's
lost you there, bud.
He's masturbating, right? And Edie Falco's his mom comes down, and he comes all over, and I'm like, all right, now you've lost me on this one. This is kind of gross. The mom, and so an hour later, the mom still has the shirt on, and I'm like going, and then the Joe Pesci is funny in this. Joe Pesci plays his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like going, okay, I need to give this another try when I'm in the mood for something like this. It's just, that scene right there kind of just Jackson Gladfelter. That scene right there kind of threw me off. I was just like, okay, this is gross. This is not funny. Am I being a prude?
No, it's just
sometimes
weird.
Sometimes shows do that too, though. They'll write something that's risque or funny, and it's kind of lost me on that one.
Yeah. Dennis says, Jack, that's when we turned it off. I was like, okay, this is okay. This is not funny. This is disgusting. And I'm 60 years old. I get it, but I just said, okay, this is gross.
Well, it's even with The Bear. I said season 2 debuted today. I haven't started watching it yet, but I remember recommending The Bear to my parents, who they toughed it out and watched it. But I remember on the first couple of episodes, they were like, I'm not sure if we like this. There's a lot of cussing in this show, and there's a lot of F-bombs, a lot of, suck my dicks. And it's a lot of Chicago boys busting each other's balls talk. But as you watch it, it really gets good. But I could see where certain people of certain generations are like,
yeah, get turned off from it.
Yeah. Why is this necessary?
Yeah, that's what I do with Deadwood, because I love Deadwood. But I tell people ahead of time, okay, it's strong. The language is really, really. I mean, you're gonna have to ignore the language, because it's bad. I mean, it's just there's the N word, the C word. I mean, it's just but it's done so well that you go, okay, it's part of the. But people go. I've had people come back to me and go, well, that was terrible. I go, I told you the language. I had a boss. He actually passed away a few months ago. But I go, this show's great. I go, but you're gonna have to. And this guy used the F-bomb, and he had no problem screaming any word out there. He goes, I couldn't stand the language. I go, really? You?
You sure there's.
And he goes, what? He was in the NHL and all this stuff. And I'm like going, really? You didn't like it? He goes, no, I couldn't get by the language. I go, I told you it had terrible language. You didn't say it was that bad. I go, yeah, I did. And he was one person that he didn't like to be, question whether he's right or wrong. I go,
yeah.
But I would say, I go, no, I told you the language. I go, if you don't like language, terrible language, you're not going to like this show. But
yeah.
Anyway, rest in peace.
So I watched a couple of shows. So I finished watching C. I don't know if we talked about that a couple weeks ago or not, but
You mentioned it, yeah.
That's on my list to watch.
I finished it. Satisfying ending. I thought that they did a really nice job with it. Definitely recommend. I think it was 2 or 3 seasons, whatever it is. 2 thumbs up. I thought it was really good. John the Retired Guy says Pete Davidson. How can he be funny? That's not fair. Pete Davidson's a funny fucking dude. Like I
think he's pretty funny. I don't get why he's attracts all the hot women.
Yeah,
it's because
I don't get it.
BDE. That's big dick energy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Think about it for a second.
But then what else did I watch? I watched Nick, your recommendation. So I caught up with I'm waiting the next episode of Silo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you posted that early in the morning for Nick.
What?
You posted on our text message like at 6 o'clock.
Was it 6?
It was pretty early in the morning, but I said, well, I'm sure Nick is still sleeping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine sometimes.
When did I fucking text?
It was early.
But yeah, Silo. That's another one that Dennis recommended to me.
That's on Apple.
Apple TV.
Apple, yeah. Silo's good. And then like Silo and Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger, both of those got picked up for season 2.
Yeah, Fubar. That's the one I got to watch.
So that's I think I mentioned that last week. Fubar's to me is like they had written a sequel to True Lies and then said, "Oh, we can't get the rights or we can't get Jamie Lee Curtis, so like we'll just kind of rearrange it to fit this narrative instead." And it's good. I mean, it's not like holy shit, this is good TV, but it's like, oh yeah, it's cheesy and it's
Fubar could describe the people in the sub, right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Fubar and Rebar. Yeah. But
Silo's a serious show, right? It's a
it's a suspense.
Yeah, it's
suspense.
Drama.
It's just like it's nothing original in that.
Is it released, Dennis? He watched the latest Silo before he came on here. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing after the show.
No, it's so. I mean, season 1's already. What do you mean? Already?
No,
it's been done for a while, hasn't it?
No,
pretty sure.
No.
Okay, maybe I'm a few episodes behind then. Okay.
New episode comes out on Friday, but I think apparently it comes out tonight.
Oh, cool. Then I probably got a couple episodes to catch up on then.
Yeah. Squid Game. No one asked for Squid Game season 2.
Jackson Gladfelder said Squid Game season 2 on
Squid Game was good.
Squid Game was excellent, but I'm sitting there thinking, I go, all right, how are they going to do a season 2?
Well, we'll see. You have to, the thing about any successful series, we've talked about this too, I think, is that, Squid Game, season 1, it's just a narrow focus of like, these people are in this game within this world. Yeah. In order for season 2 to be good, you can't just have a repeat of that. You have to expand that world. Yeah.
And speaking of being successful with season over season, I'll speak of my my next show that I started watching. And that's fucking Manifest.
Yeah.
So I started watching the final release, and this is the best part. So Nick is my Manifest buddy, right? So we talk about we shit on that show equally, but holy fuck, this is it's
nosedive.
Nick, you made a great point.
It nosedive after the first episode.
It totally Titanic submarines after the first episode. But Nick, you brought up a good point in our text. You're like, do you think at some point they know this show sucks and they're just trying to make it really campy and bad? But then,
as long as people are watching, right?
My God, but I don't think anyone is. But
you two are.
I'm only 2 episodes in, and I was like, man, this is fucking terrible.
It's terrible.
And Nick was like, these 10 episodes are the worst. I go, wait a minute, fucking 10? I gotta sit through 10 hours of this shit. Fuck. I got to the point now, right? I can't not watch it, right?
Exactly.
I kinda have to see how it goes.
You've gone this.
But,
You've
man,
gone this far. You've come this far.
I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, I would have given Manifest ever a shot.
My goodness
you know?
gracious! Like, I mean, Nick, I still don't know. Is it just, or is it A, B, or C? Bad acting, bad writing, or both?
Yeah, I think it's both,
Like,
and bad direction too.
Like, everybody on that show is a shit actor.
They're all of them. They're all shit.
Like,
yeah,
there's not one good one.
no.
And one was
they're all
Prince Charming
fucking
and
terrible.
Once Upon a Time, right?
And he's the worst. He is the absolute worst. And his
worst.
son is terrible. His sister, awful.
Oh, she's
his sister's
horrible.
boyfriend is deplorable on screen. Like, or the ex-boyfriend. Like,
Well,
it
that's
is
how the
so
show stays
fucking
on. They went cheap with the acting, right, and probably the writing.
Well, I mean, it was on what, ABC or NBC, whatever, and then it got canceled after season 3. So Netflix picked it up just so they could finish it with season 4, and so they split it in 2. And in this, the first half of season 4 wasn't great, but it wasn't like, oh, it's always bad, but it's not. It's just you're like, okay, but all 10 episodes are utter shit. Like you're just clinging on for dear life. Like, I just want to know the end. I just want to know how it ends.
My wife watched I think the first 2 seasons. She got mad that I go, I can't do this. I go, it's going to be like The Following all over again, where you're watching it and I'm just making fun of it. I go, I can't watch this because it's so bad. I go, I can't do it. And she goes, well, it's a show we're watching together. I go, not me. I can't do it. It's that, because the acting is like nails on a chalkboard because it's so bad. And Dennis, he sent me his theory. I did not have that theory. That's a great theory. That's a great theory.
I love
but but Robert Zemeckis' name is on this thing as an EP, right? And so Sherry says the Michaela actress is the worst.
She is the worst,
dude. She is so bad.
She's
like,
so bad. And the thing is, I thought she was like close to our age, Chris. And I looked up; she's 30 years old. I'm like, dude, you look like you're 40. Like, how are you 30? I don't mean that to be mean, but like she does.
That is pretty mean.
30. Yeah.
Like the older Cal, fucking terrible. like it's so fucking.
So you're saying these people are not going to get into the job? Now a lot of times you got to wonder too, because was it Michael B. Jordan? My wife used to say, okay, he's not a good. He's not a good actor either. He was on a soap opera, but he's not a good actor. But when I watched him on Friday Night Lights, he was a great actor. I thought he did a great job. I think sometimes it's the writing and the directing.
Yeah, it is.
Ruins it.
It all works together, and that's the
thing.
It
all works together, and so. But
Friday Night Lights is also 25 years ago too, so I mean, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the time though, he went from a soap opera that Cindy watched. I can't remember what it was. He goes, oh, he's not going to be good on this show because he's a terrible actor. I go, but maybe we can't compare soap opera acting.
But then he went to The Wire.
Yeah, that's right. He was in The Wire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But Friday Night Lights. But I thought he was good in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. More or less. But here, the thing is, though, like I'm gonna watch the remaining 8 episodes, and like
you're a brave man.
So
you're gonna watch that, but you're afraid to go to the dentist?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm not going to spoil it for you at all, but you'll know when you see it. But it's basically the main character's last calling, and it's not his calling. I think it's his son that tells him, he's like, I see this. This is what's happening, And then when it actually happens, the effects to make it happen are so bad that it full on just like.
You said it's on Netflix now, right?
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I finally watched. I finally started Succession season 4,
right?
The final season. And when I kept thinking, okay, Nick says there's going to be some twist. There's going to be some twist. I did not see that. Even when it was happening, I didn't see it. I'm not going to spoil anyone.
Yeah.
But even when it was happening, I'm like going,
is this real? Is this really happening?
There's no. I go, all right. They're fucking with those people.
It comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
I go, they're fucking with those people because maybe because the guy was selling McDonald's French fries now. I don't know. But I was just like going, I had no clue that was going to happen. I was like going, well, how are they going to continue the show? Then I watched the next episode. I go, it even gets more.
It gets better. Yeah. I think.
And like you
was so good. Yeah.
And like you said, what's his name?
Culkin.
Yeah. his character is completely changed. And
Yeah.
when he was sitting on that mountain yelling at that, telling that guy off, I said,
"Oh, wait till you get to the funeral episode, which I think is the next to last episode."
I do think that Shiv is in on
Shiv. Shiv, like that's. I mean, I get it. I totally get the series and why but it's infuriating every fucking season of that show. You want the kids to get their shit together and work together, and at some point, one of them betrays the other, and it's just like.
But because that's how they were raised,
right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that you're siblings, so you shouldn't do that. But
you shouldn't. But again, there's a lot of money involved. We're talking,
of course,
billions,
and that's what I mean. Like the ending is going to surprise you because it's not what you think it's going to be.
Well, I couldn't get past the. I was like going, God, that whole. I watched it late at night. I'm like going, I have no one to talk to, because I did not. I had no clue going into the episode, even when it was happening. I'm like, okay, this is a red herring. This is gonna be something that's not.
Yeah.
But Sherry says no spoil. I won't spoil you. But I was like, I was shocked they went that direction, and I said, and I watched afterwards the little, they had that little like 5-minute wrap up where they talk to the actors. I go, wow. I go, that was ballsies. But anyway, Chris won't watch it because he's canceled at HBO.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I did.
Season 3 to me, even though the whole show is good, season 3 to me, I enjoyed, but I felt some of it was redundant because like we've kind of covered some of the ground that was in season 3. But season 4, I kind of had that feeling at the very beginning. But then once what you're talking about, once that happens, I mean, they off to the races. I mean, it's good.
It's a power, Secession. That's the name of the. And I love Greg.
God, I mean, think about Greg. I wanted Greg this season to be not Greg. I wanted him to actually be a bit more with a spine, But he's Greg, and that's Greg,
and that's his grandfather. Did he really respect it? He treated him like he was an idiot. So
yeah, because he is an idiot.
He is, but and it's like Khan. You feel bad for Khan because
Oh right, yeah.
But he's rich, so fuck off.
Yeah, like I said,
he probably would have went in the sub.
Yeah, you and the thing is that you get some interesting dialogue even with Khan with the brother, the dad's brother, the older guy.
Yeah,
you get a lot of really interesting dialogue this season of like confessions of like why they are the way they are, and so that's some of the values that you could tell that whoever was writing this show, who's opposite of Manifest, actually put the time of trying to develop these characters. And it wasn't just like an information dump where it's like, you don't know, you know nothing, like we're going to tell you all right now in 10 minutes. It's like,
yeah, because that the episode where it's the big twist, the acting was outstanding. I mean, it was outstanding. Has anyone watched Netflix's Unstable with Rob Lowe? I have not.
I have not either.
I have not. I'm watching Youngblood again. So
I binged Beef this week, which is with the guy from Walking Dead who gets head bashed in.
It's what's for dinner.
Yeah, but it's not about that kind of beef.
Okay.
Glenn from Walking Dead, and then Ali Wong.
Stephen Yeun.
Yes, yeah.
Did he ever get out of the dumpster?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in the show, I don't highly recommend it, but if you have nothing else to watch, give it a shot. And
I know I've seen that. I've wondered about that. So is it worth watching?
Yeah, it's I give it like a 7. It's or 6.5.
Wow,
it's
I don't know if that's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those, if you have time, you have nothing else to watch, give it a shot. But basically the premise is you have two characters that both have issues, like deep issues, but you learn this kind of later on. But how it starts is he is in like a Home Depot, and as he's pulling out of the parking lot, this car just like is right behind him, and then she just starts honking the horn at him, and he's like, what the fuck, and then like she flips him off, which makes him have road rage, and he chases her down. And
it happened to me the other day.
Yeah, well, the first few episodes is true to the word, is that it's beef. I have a beef with you,
Oh,
so
okay,
they kind of like do these things to get back at each other, like one up each other. And it's one of those things that eventually it spirals completely out of control. And like, man, I think it's the last episode. There's definitely some stuff you're like, holy shit, like that really went fucking morbid, But it's like I say, it's decent.
And that's on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
I also wanted to mention I watched that movie that I wanted to see, but I forgot what it was, and Chris mentioned it a few weeks back. The Sisu. Oh, you're muted, Chris.
You're on mute.
Sorry, you saw it?
I saw it. Yeah, like you can rent it on Apple for
What's
way
it
more
called?
money than it's worth. I think it's
Sisu?
SISU. I think it's the title. And so the premise of it is you have a Finnish soldier. He's an older guy, but he's done with the World War II. He's done, and he's panning for gold somewhere in Finland. And he strikes a huge vein of gold. So he takes it out, and he's just walking down the road. You don't know where he's going. And then a Nazi patrol who's fleeing Finland, just lets him go by. But then the next people that see him are like, what's in the bags, and he kills them. And then, of course, the other Nazis that they hear all the gunshots, all this. So then they find one little gold nugget.
Fucking Nazis.
Yeah, they find one gold nugget. So then they start pursuing him. And it's basically the John Wick formula of
this is a movie?
This guy, he's just going to fucking kill you. Yeah, it's a movie.
Okay.
And it's as in plot. He has zero lines in the entire movie. It's just a straight up, I'm going to kill every fucker on the planet.
Oh, he doesn't say it? He doesn't speak.
Yeah. I mean, the Nazis
really
don't speak. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it's the thing is that you have to. It's $19.99 to rent it on Apple or $24 to buy it, and it's not worth it. I would wait to where you
I'm
get it
gonna
wait till it's released.
Yeah.
Or $3.99 rental.
Yeah, because I mean, compared to John Wick, like John Wick is up here. Like
I've never seen a John Wick movie.
So did you see actually? What's his name? Oliver Stone was commenting about John Wick recently.
Oh yeah, it was absurd what he said, wasn't it?
And he was saying like how absurd and how terrible and
unbelievable.
I forget what his quote was, but he was just shitting on John Wick. But he also put John Wick in the same category as Fast and the Furious. And he was saying how it's like terrible filmmaking, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Dude, how can you like watch John Wick? All right, you have to understand that movie it knows exactly what it is.
Exactly.
And it plays it from the beginning until the end. And it's not supposed
it's escapism, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
And he's
and they knew it too.
His comments were like, it's not physically possible to do the things that he was doing, blah, blah, blah. No shit, Oliver. Like, that's not the point.
You think there should be an unwritten rule that you don't bash other?
Just shut your fucking mouth. Leave the movie and TV bashing to us.
Well, the thing about Oliver Stone is, I mean, in the 80s, Oliver Stone actually tried to make, Platoon, you have Born on 4th of July, you have movies that are actually true.
JFK.
That's right. When you get to JFK, though, JFK has got so much bullshit in it. Where you're just like, how can you sit there and call these movies bullshit when you made a movie that's bullshit?
I like JFK.
No, I like JFK. I like The Doors. Like I like, but then like I didn't like Any Given Sunday when it came out, but I learned to appreciate it a little bit later. But it's just
he did Nixon, right?
I think he did.
No, he did Bush, right?
No, he did it. I know he did
He did Bush. I thought.
I don't think he did Bush.
I think
he did Nixon. He might have did. I don't know.
He might have did Nixon. Whoever did Bush, I remember I got in trouble on something. Someone just screamed at me. I said, "Well, if you like George Bush, you're gonna like the movie. If you hate George Bush, I don't know." I said, it was kind of a weak. I thought it was a terrible movie. Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about something.
The movie W.
W, that's what it is.
W. Yeah,
it was. That's Oliver Stone. Yeah.
Oliver Stone. I did want to talk about something that you brought up, the road rage thing, and it's people that back into parking spaces.
That's actually smart.
But I get it.
You could do.
But if you're interfering with if I have to wait, especially if you can't do it.
You can't do it, yeah.
And you're sitting there going, okay, you're an idiot. But the other day, I'm dropping the grandkids off at their camp, and the person turned into a parking space. I assumed they were going into the parking space. I turned into the other parking space, and they just looked at because they were going to back into it. They didn't signal.
Right.
And he gets out looking at me. I'm like going, look, dude, say something. I will go over and kick your ass. That's what I'm saying in my mind. Because I looked at him, I go, I'm old, but I can take him. I'm old. I could take him.
You got more insurance.
He was just looking at me like he was pissed at me because I took. How am I supposed to know you're backing in? Right? How am I supposed to know you're backing into that parking space?
Right.
And so many people don't know how to do it. There was a lady, we went to Alamo Draft House. I'm like, oh, come on. You can't do it. Just pull forward. Just take the space in front of you. You can't do it.
Do you live at the Alamo Draft Horse?
He mentions it every fucking week. That's why I just hit the ding the bell. An hour and 15 minutes and 10 seconds in.
Okay, it's been a while, but I'm saying the last time we went there, this lady, she's going this, and Cindy's like, go around her. I go, how am I supposed to go around her? She keeps pulling back out. I go, obviously she can't park in there.
You gotta find the spot you can just pull through.
I'm 100% for that. But the people that back in, and I'm telling you, 90% of them can't fucking do it.
Right.
If you can't do it, stop trying. Or go to a vacant lot and practice backing in because you're fucking up the rest of the world.
In my prior job that I had before where I work now, I worked for Johnson & Johnson. I was a medical device rep, so I was driving around with a suit, and I was the asshole in your doctor's office. I saw your doctor before you did. But we had company cars, and they made us take like it's like a defensive driving course, right? Where I had to go and do 30, 40 miles an hour and lock the brakes and try to turn left to avoid a cone type of those types of things. And what they did was they actually taught us
to sell drugs.
What?
To sell this was really?
Well, yeah,
I mean, it just seems like a lot of work for.
Well, yeah, I had a company car.
Okay, all right.
And so that they it's like for insurance purpose they had us do all this stuff, and then as part of this training, we were taught to always back into a parking spot or pull through, because they said the number of insurance claims from accidents that are happening of people backing out of a parking space is dramatically larger than.
I get it. That makes sense.
We were taught to, whenever possible, back into a spot or pull through. Because it reduces the chance.
No, I get it. But
it's also
I always pull. If I have a chance to pull through, I'll pull through.
Yeah. Well, we call it utility parking because that's what every utility I've ever been to parks that way. Like they're required to park that way because any emergency situation, you just get in the car and you go.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. You don't have to back out.
But again, if you can't do it, stop trying because you're fucking up the world. Yeah. George R. R. Martin, he wrote Game of Thrones books, really bashed into loss.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things that totally.
So hold on for those listening at home and not in the chat. Jack was just reading a quote from Sherry that she was saying that George R. R. Martin bashed the end of Game of Lost.
Yeah,
which is why she thinks that he's afraid to finish and screw up the finale book. Dude, no one fucking cares about Game of Thrones anymore.
Well, they will because I know that they'll you have to think about how they're doing the House of Dragon right now, which is so far successful.
Yeah, but that's not him.
No, he wrote.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I never finished House of Dragons.
I kind of take it back then.
Okay. Yeah. So because he's written 5 of the Game of Thrones books, and
how old is he?
He's getting on up there. The last book of the Game of Thrones were the Song of Ice and Fire trilogy, but the series. Last one came out in 2011, which is insane.
Wow.
Really?
And they're also going to adapt. They're also going to adapt his Dunk and Egg stories, which there's only 3 novellas of that, and I'm curious to see how they do that. But those are actually pretty good as well. But what the House of the Dragon is based off of is he wrote kind of like how Tolkien wrote I never said that word right, the Silmarillion or that book.
Silmarillion.
Yeah. How that's more like a history book than it is an actual novel. And that's what House of Dragon is based off is he wrote a book, a big ass book about the history of the Targaryen lineage. And so people can just say like, hey, here it happens from between these years, this happens, and we can write around that. So he's not actually writing a lot of the dialogue or anything. But the story is his.
But the concept came from his writings.
Yes.
So you're saying that the last book came out 12 years ago.
Yes, it came out right before.
Okay, the other books, how long did it take in between each book for it to come out?
And that's because he started writing them in 91, and books 1, 2, and 3 came out like boom, 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 like 96, 98, 2000, I think.
Because he
And
probably
then-
had the idea for it.
Yeah, and just
The first
kept
book.
writing. And those are the best 3 books. And then Feast for Crows came out in 2005, and then Dance of the Dragons came out in 2011. And you can tell even in the show, seasons 1 through 4 are books 1 through 3, and they're awesome because they kind of mostly stuck to the books. And then books 4 and 5 are really one book, but he split them up by continents, like everything's happening on this side, versus
Right.
this side. And they kind of chose the showrunners said, like, we're going to delete all these storylines, they're not necessary. And it really went downhill. And if you ever go back, anyone out there, and listen to the Game of Thrones podcast with Jay, Jack, and Nick, you can hear me shit on a lot of those last seasons because of how much I did not like them.
Do you think it was a mistake as a Game of Thrones fan? Do you think it was a mistake for them to film the show without it being completed by George R.R. Martin?
Yeah, but I think that's more George R. Martin's fault. He should have known better because at his age and as slow as he writes anyhow, he should have
Because he
never
got a
agreed
good chunk of change, right?
and part of me thinks that's why he did it, because most authors don't make a lot of money until they sell the rights to TV or movies and things like that.
Right.
And once he did do that, he's raking in the money. And
But he was also in his fucking 40s when they first started writing him.
Right. Yeah, but he wrote a lot of stuff. I think I have a love-hate relationship with George R. Martin. I think he is a good writer. I don't think he has an original thought in his head. I think because I've read a lot of his books.
Does he write Manifest?
No, he is a beautiful writer, and
Definitely doesn't have a calling.
He's a beautiful writer, and he writes very things that you can easily understand, and you want to keep reading. So he is a great writer in that aspect. But if you read a lot of his even older books, he took things that were popular at the time and then wrote his version of it. Because he has a book called Night Flyers, which they actually made into a miniseries. That is when the whole alien craze in '79 was going along. So he wrote based on alien. He has another one called Sandworms, which is very much Dune. He took whatever and was like, oh, I like this. I'm going to make my version of this. And so even with the Song of Ice and Fire, which I love, that is the War of the Roses and a lot of other mythology stuff all blended together. And it's brilliant how he did it, but it's still not like an original concept. It's not like Lord of the Rings or something where it's like, damn, that is completely you. Like I said, I don't want to bash him because I love those. I love everything he wrote when it comes to the Song of Ice and Fire. But it's just, we'll see. And I think he'll be successful. I think part of me thinks he's been done actually for a while. He just doesn't want to hear the shit, and so he's probably just like, you know what, I'm gonna write them, and when I die, they'll get published.
Yeah. Is there just one more book to go, or is it going to be two more books?
There's two. So the last time he updated people, which was probably a month ago or so, he's almost done with what's going to be called the Winds of Winter. And then after that, there's going to be another book called A Dream of Spring. But who knows? You never know with him. This might be the most shitty one.
Not even close, John.
Well, anything that contains Manifest, it's going to be just like
a shit show. So it'll be completely different from the TV show Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I started off. Is like, I think that depending on how far they go with the House of the Dragon stuff, because really for the season 1 of House of the Dragon, they can really only do about one more season of this time period. And so if they choose to make it more like an anthology series to where it's like, hey, season 3 is going to be a completely different cast, completely different time, but still interesting stories, they could keep going with House of Dragon for a long time. And then by that time, if the show is still popular, they might go, hey, let's just go ahead and remake Game of Thrones because George has finished the books now.
Do you think that it's easier for him to finish the story knowing how bad the TV show ended? It was I mean, obviously you didn't like it. So it was panned, and by most of the fans didn't like the way Game of Thrones ended. Does that make you go, okay, I need to change the direction of what
he could
see? I see what people didn't like.
Right.
So now I'm going to go this direction. So it might be easier for him. Because he knows what people don't like, so he can change it around.
I have no doubt that the ending that we got is what he wrote, or at least what he told them how he's going
Right.
to end it. But the way they executed it was awful. Because like I totally see Bran being the king at the end.
Spoiler.
But the thing is, but the thing is, they glossed over everything that made Bran special, and it was stupid at the end of that show of like, hey, you know that crippled kid that we know nothing about, who's been like in the forest up north for the entire series? Yeah, let's make him king. You know, like that sounds great. You know,
It did come out. It did come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then things that are stupid that the show did, like, as in the books, there is no Night King. There is no like leader of the other
ice chains.
Yeah, there's no Nimitz-sized chains pulling the dragon out of the water.
We're just gonna pull these out of the water.
Yeah, and so, but the show-wise though, that was one of the dumbest things ever in the last season. Is that you've been showing from episode 1 the threat is the people of the North, the White Walkers, and then what do? You kill them off mid-season of the last season, and then you say Cersei's the threat. Get fucked. You know, like you completely let all the air out of the balloon at that point, and then she dies by rocks. You know, like it was so bad. And I'm not to go on a Game of Thrones
shame,
rant, but yeah,
shame.
It was, and then just the whole fact that yes, you can see Daenerys turning bad subtly, but then just to spin it the way they did so quickly, I understood why people hated it.
John the Retire Guy says, "I think Nick might secretly be George R.R. Martin."
Look, I haven't read those books in over a decade, but I still remember them like very well. Yeah, I hated it exactly. Lady Stoneheart was such a cool storyline they left out. They left out all of Tyrion going over to Essos and asking where do whores go. Like there's so much comedy because basically, remember when he shoots his dad on the toilet? And he's like, where is, and he goes, wherever whores go. And then he's like, say that one more time, and then that's when he shoots him. And so everywhere he goes, he's like, do you know where whores go? Like, it's like, there's so much stuff they left out. Like, there's a Dorne storyline to where like this prince in Dorne wants to go over and win the hand of Daenerys. And he tries to like get one of her dragons to impress her. And then it burns him alive. Like and you're not sure if it was really him or was it a cover up. There's a lot of stuff that was never shown in the
It's a shame that they rushed that final season.
Yeah.
When they had 2.5 years.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a shame. It's because it was such a great show. I mean, I think, should I do a rewatch? And I go, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean,
it's like the Dexter. It's like the Dexter.
You'll get your fill, Jack. Don't do the rewatch. You'll get your fill if you watch House of the Dragons.
I've watched everything but the last 2 episodes. I haven't. For some reason, I got sidetracked and then forgot about it.
That story is not going to end the way people want it either. But to me is I like that story. There's another one too that happens 80 years later called the Blackfire Rebellion. I hope they could do that as well. And that's where, because at the end of this series, in this storyline, all the dragons are dead after what's happening right now. And 80 years later, the king has 2 sons, one legitimate, one bastard. But his legitimate one is like this skinny, puny, not really what a king would want in a son. And his bastard is everything he ever wanted. And so
bastard's just what I wanted.
Yeah, but
what I needed.
He gives like the sword, the Valyrian steel sword, to the bastard, which to a lot of people signifies that he wants him to be the next king, not the little skinny one. But when he dies, you have the entire kingdom fighting over who is going to be the next king. It's called the Blackfire Rebellion, and it's a really good story.
Did you ever watch the show? Was it The Last Kingdom?
No, I know it, but I never watched it.
I'm Uhtred, son of Uhtred. It's a really good series. You haven't seen it? I enjoy it. It's kind of not believable though. It's a
lot of things.
And then
I did watch the first episode of just speaking of Daenerys,
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, yeah, and I didn't know she was in that. I was like, oh look, there she is, Amelia Clark.
I haven't watched that yet either. I gotta check that out.
What's it called?
Secret Invasion. It's a Marvel.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
I think Marvel's just gotta shut the fuck up and stop making movies and shows because
that's everything though.
I think it's. I be honest. I burned out on it a while ago, but I think it's played itself out.
Cares anymore.
I mean, everyone has superhero fatigue now. It's been over a decade. They've been making nonstop superhero stuff, and they're all same story pretty much over and over again. And
The Flash isn't doing it as well. As
yeah, everything is bombed. Yeah, and like even Indiana Jones, they're saying is going to bomb.
Really?
It's just one, they didn't advertise at all for it until recently in last week or so, and then everyone
when's it coming out?
The end of June,
next
yeah,
week?
next week, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I know like two of the reviewers who got to see it, for like the reviewer people, they both said, yeah, it's not good.
So basically, they should have stopped 2 movies ago.
Yeah, they should. I mean, because really, Last Crusade had the perfect ending. You have him and his dad riding off into the sunset. It's like that's perfectly fine.
Plus Harrison. I mean, is this the one where they make him look younger?
Yeah, but that's just in the first. So Chris Gore, who used to be on G4, the review that I watched him give of it, he said the first 20 minutes are fuck yes. He says it's old. It's what you want out of Indiana Jones. It's him, when the Nazis are defeated and like they're trying to get all this loot. They're trying to get out of Germany with this loot and they're preventing it. He goes, that is the best part of the movie. He goes, and then after that, it's just downhill. He goes, because it's no longer Indiana Jones movie after that. He goes, and I'm sorry for anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled or anything, but like he said,
spoiler.
Yeah, he said basically, it's The Force Awakens. And that from a Harrison,
you're fucking hate it, Nick.
Yeah, he said basically it's the same story character treatment that they gave to Han in The Force Awakens, and that he's a grumpy, sad, depressed man because
wait, is Shia LaBeouf gonna fucking kill Indy?
Shia LaBeouf is dead before the movie starts. He died in Vietnam, and he's depressed, and it caused him and Marion to separate and be estranged from each other. And said so like. The entire movie is not an Indiana Jones movie. It's the female other character he said every single thing that you would expect Indy to do, she does it in the movie.
How many years did they have to get this right?
Yeah, and it's
like I said, it was the fourth one, right? There's 5. This will be the 5th.
This is the 5th one. Yeah,
the 4th one was I've watched it once. And
yeah,
I never went back to what I said. Okay, this is like Manifest.
Well,
I can't watch it.
To me, I mean, the thing is, it's like we were talking about with Willow a couple weeks ago. Is that the audience for Willow is Gen X and old millennials, because those are people who watched Willow as children, and you should have made the series for those people. And it's the same thing with Indiana Jones. They messed it up with the 4th one, and they messed it up in the 5th one. The formula for Indiana Jones is not hard. You have a MacGuffin, which is an object that both an evil side and a good side want, and it's the race to get that object. And on the way, Indiana Jones, as a professor, educates the audience on history and why these things are important and why the evil side should not get them. That's the formula of Indiana Jones, and they swayed away from it in episode 4 and the 4th one, and they're not doing it in this one either. And so if you stick to that, you're cooking with oil. But yeah, I don't know.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was so good,
good.
But the next 2 were okay. I mean, next 2 were good. But like the 4th
one, I was introduced to Indiana Jones through Temple of Doom. I didn't see Raiders first because I think Temple of Doom came out 84, 85.
84,
yeah. So and I'll never fuck like that was one of the first things first cinematic like experiences that I was terrified of was the pulling the heart out of the
pulling the heart. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I remember being a 4 or 5 year old
like Roadhouse
and like losing my shit and being and having fucking nightmares about that stuff, right? No, seriously.
It's like going to the dentist.
It's his hand gets pushed into the guy's chest and fucking just goes right in and take like what the fuck? Like that scared the piss out of me as a kid. And I remember I being like hesitant to watch Indiana Jones, but it was like an accomplishment to get past that scene to then to watch the rest of it because the rest of the movie's fucking amazing. And I'm like, oh look, it's Data.
Well, Raiders, what I liked about it, it only the special effects were great. When he's on the thing and he's their convoy and he's trying to he's underneath the truck, all that different stuff with the whip was fantastic. But it had a great story too. It had comedy, it had great story, it had characters you cared about.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it just at some point you got to go, okay, either bring a new Indiana Jones in, or bring someone else in other than Harrison Ford, or just say, okay, we're done with it.
Yeah.
because you hurt. I think you hurt the legacy of a movie if you just keep going on with the same crap.
But The Last Crusade, I thought was fucking awesome. Like that was a great movie.
Yeah.
And then the Crystal Skull was just so fucking manifest. It's not even funny. Like it was like Crystal Skull was Nick. I was saying, is a manifest level like blunder.
Right.
Well, yeah. But we have a special place in our heart for it because my buddy Dave is in it. So we're hoping that with this new movie release, they might start re-releasing box sets or whatever, and then he'll get paid again.
Well, to me, Crystal Skull is to me like the Phantom Menace. Like the Phantom Menace, plot wise, is actually not that bad. It's just, and it seems like Crystal Skull. Like I get it. Like I like the '50s premise. I like that now it's the Cold War and it's against the Russians. But that's when they messed up, and that the MacGuffin is the Crystal Skull, but they don't explain why it's important. Like what is it? Why do both sides want it? They just know, hey, it's some mythical thing, but you don't know why. And so that loses a lot of people there. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Whereas you understand why the Ark's important. You understand why.
Because because the Nazis want it. So you say they can't get it.
Right. But then to me, if you want to make past prime Indy in the fourth one, at the end of the fourth one, they should have had him like, I'm fulfilled. I've done my part for my country or whatever. And he goes away. And maybe he wants to explore more as an archaeologist, or maybe just become a professor once again, and actually dedicated professor. And then in this one, it should have been from the very beginning. Indy has been missing for 20 years or 15 years or whatever. And something, whatever the MacGuffin is so important that they have to get Short Round, who is now also either an archaeologist or a professor or something like that, to find him. An Academy Award winner. But to find him and then bring Indy back for this.
Is he in the movie?
He's not.
Fucking
apparently they shot 5 endings to this movie, and he is in one version of it, but that's the one they didn't choose. So the last scene, that's what Chris Gore says, that the first 20 minutes are awesome and the last few minutes are awesome, and that you do see a reunion with Marion because they've been estranged since Mutt died, and it's a nice moment, but that's it. He said that there's a whole backstory to Phoebe Bridger. There's a whole backstory to her character that anyone that had half a brain.
She's great.
Yeah, but I'm saying, anyone with half a brain who making an Indiana Jones movie would have edited it completely out. And the reason why they did it is because they want her to take up, basically be the new Lara Croft in a way of taking over after Indiana Jones, which will never happen because no one who's a diehard Indy fan will be like, no, I don't want to. You can't replace a character like that. But that's just my
opinion. What's the character? What's her name in the movie? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Oh,
who's the actress?
Phoebe Bridgers. Waller-Bridger, I think. She know her from Fleabag. Because you watch Fleabag, don't you? Oh, okay. Oh, Miss Maisel is what you watch. Sorry.
Yeah, Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah, Miss Maisel, yeah.
Mrs. Maisel, I should say. So you were talking about, these chains that go on, these movies like Planet of the Apes. First one was outstanding.
Yeah.
Second one was good. And then they just kept going on, but they got cheaper and cheap. The studio said, okay, you got $1 million to work with this one. So they would, instead of having, all this makeup on and, they would just put Halloween masks on these. And you could see, it was okay,
5 of those back in the 70s?
I think 5. And it's okay, what are we doing here?
But the modern ones, the trilogy that came out a few years ago, that is excellent. The Planet of the Apes.
Yes,
those are.
It's not as good as the first one.
No,
and never will be. But yeah, they were good. They because you had the CGI and all that different stuff.
I'm sorry, I had to correct myself. Phoebe Bridgers is a singer-songwriter. It's Phoebe Bridge.
Phoebe Bridge.
Phoebe Bridge.
Waller-Bridge. Phoebe
Waller-Bridge
is the actress in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's one of those things where people will, will always be like hater or whatever. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with the actors. It's the same as the issues I had with the sequels, the Star Wars sequels. To me, I'm always such a plot person, and it's like, if you do not convince me why this character is important, then I'm probably not going to like it.
Interesting fun fact: she's also the voice of L337 from Solo, Star Wars story. Mm-hmm. Jack's like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I'm trying to figure this out. She's a singer?
No.
Phoebe Bridgers is a singer. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the actress.
Waller
Bridge.
Waller Bridge.
I think there's an H in there. You might have to spell it for him, Chris.
All right.
Is there? No, there's no. In Phoebe, there is.
Okay, I think I found it. Oh, I know who she is. She's always on Graham Norton.
Mm.
Okay, anyway, I'm back.
You fucking dude, it's Graham Norton and Alamo Drafthouse are your two buzzwords. Are you bringing
I have not mentioned Graham Norton in years.
Yeah, yes, you fucking do. Like
I go back and check the tape. Bullshit. Bullshit.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just your.
No, I haven't mentioned it in years. Once. Weeks.
You know what? Something we haven't done in a while. Taking a commercial break.
It's now 11:15.
Yeah, we probably should wrap this up.
But yeah, like I said, like I being an Indiana Jones fan, I really do want to see it, but then again, I don't want to see it. You know?
You're gonna see it anyways. You know you are.
You got to watch it because it's Indiana Jones. But
I am going to go see tomorrow Asteroid City because I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan, which I said that
I
last
heard
week
it's
too.
really. I heard it's very Wes Anderson-y.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I remember after Grand Budapest Hotel that yeah, exactly. I thought there's no way he can top this, you know, and that
I
was
loved Grand Budapest Hotel. That was so much fun.
You know, and the thing is, he didn't for a while because you know you have Life of Dogs or no, I forget, but you know he made another animated, and then was not too impressed with
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
But no, he made another one. It's like Isle of Dogs.
All dogs go to heaven.
Isle of Dogs is what he made, and then he made another movie 2 years ago, and it's in 3 parts. I'm forgetting the titles, but anyway, you know the first part of that is excellent, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. But so it wasn't his best one. But
remember, Moonrise Kingdom was.
Moonrise Kingdom's great. Yeah, I mean, I love everything he did from Bottle Rocket all the way to Grand Budapest Hotel. I loved every single one of them.
The French Dispatch.
French Dispatch. Like I said, it's kind of a little bit all over the place, and that like you have these 2 little bookends, and that the French Dispatch is a newspaper, and I guess I only saw it in theaters the one time, but someone dies, and it's really the 3 parts are them reminiscing about a story that the French Dispatch did. The first one is excellent, and then the other 2 were just okay. So it wasn't my favorite. It's probably one of his weaker ones if I had to vote, but it's I mean it's worth a watch.
Fucking Bottle Rocket, man! I need to go back and watch that again.
I haven't seen that.
That's his first one. 96.
Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw it.
Because Rushmore was definitely my favorites. You know, and Royal Tenenbaums. You know, and people always shit.
I didn't like the Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, I love Royal Tenenbaums.
I didn't like it.
But then, like, you know,
I could have been in a bad mood that day. Who knows?
Or then Life Aquatic, which Chris has for his name, like that was one that I did not really like a lot at first.
I didn't like it,
and it grew on me a little bit more, but still not in my top. But then other people shit on Darjeeling Limited, and I love that one.
I think I saw.
See,
that.
I didn't like Rushmore.
Really? See, I love Rushmore.
But the thing is, though, to be fair, like I didn't like it when it came out, and I think I probably would have a different perspective now.
So I love
because you're older.
Any movie where there's a nemesis in it, I love it. Like, you know, like Grumpy Old Men, you know, and that's what Rushmore is. It's, you know, it's what's his name? Adrian's son and Bill Murray, you know, an old guy and a high school kid trying to hit on a late 20s teacher. And neither one of them can have her, but yet they still are fighting each other over this, and it's just absurd. And that's why I've always liked it.
I honestly think Moonrise Kingdom was probably my favorite one of his movies.
It is.
I fucking loved it. But Moonrise Kingdom's a completely different style of movie. At least I kind of like the character development of that movie. I think is way different than Steve Zissou or even Royal Tenenbaums. I think it's just like more of like a single storyline type of thing, which I thought was.
Royal Tenenbaums had an all-star cast, right?
Yeah,
it did.
Gene Hackman, Ben Stiller.
Yeah, that's why I watched it. I go, I'm just bored with this movie.
Well, I mean, Wes Anderson's movies, especially in that period, they all have the same theme. Yeah, they're all about abandonment and family issues, and but they're just great. I mean, I've always liked them.
I just didn't. I remember just not liking it.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we have any emails?
I don't believe so. I'll check though.
While Nick is checking, we can do some wrapping up here.
We do some of our patrons.
Yeah.
Viewers who are here live in the chat.
Yeah. Everyone who joined us live in the chat, we appreciate you as always. Patrons, we thank all our patrons. We're going to thank Eckhart Richter Glatfelder, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poopy Letter Carrier. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for everyone who's joined us. Again, if you're watching this show live, you got a bonus because it's not going to be released until probably next week. So if you joined us live, so Randy, when you fell asleep,
you're living in the future.
Randy, when you fell asleep, you're like going, okay, I'll just watch it tomorrow. No, you can't. You should have stayed awake.
He fell asleep in like 13 minutes in this episode.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It was kind of boring, to be fair.
Until I started ranting about Game of Thrones, then
he just sank right into his chair.
Oh, those poor people. But anyway, well, they weren't poor.
No.
They're definitely not poor people.
Anyway,
I mean, they paid for the Titanic experience.
They got the full one.
They got it.
Just need Celine Dion to sing a song for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just working on it right now.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys, that's all we got. We'll be back probably in a couple weeks, probably because we got a lot of scheduling problems going on right now. So we'll be back in a couple weeks.
We'll be there at some point.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on Facebook, and I'll post something because I have to do that. But that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for anything. All you do, that's all we got. Hasta luego and goodbye.
See you down under.
I'm drowning over here, dude. I have to pee so bad. I think my penis is going to implode.
Well, there's a little black box over there you can pee into.
Right.
All right, guys. That's wow. Okay. We're out.